Well, hello. My name is Beth Green, otherwise known as Granny Rocks.
Hi there, I'm James Maynard, otherwise known as Sweet Baby James, and you've come to Lighting the Way, Granny Raps and Rocks. So stay tuned for a very interesting show, and please do comment, and we'll be happy to get your comments, and Beth will talk to you directly in response.
And if you make a comment after the live show, then I will respond to you afterwards. As soon as I see your comment, I will respond. So I'm very excited to speak with you tonight because there's a topic that's really important to me. And that topic is how do we fight for the good without polarizing? And I think you know what I mean. We have a comment already.
Yes, we have a comment here from Tracy who says hello and sends a big heart of love. Thank you, Tracy. Back at you.
So the reason that this is really important to me, hi Tracy. Mwah. The reason this is really important to me is, oops.
Oh yes, Todd says great topic.
Thank you. So this has been in your mind too. Well, I try to not talk about politics per se, because I'm usually trying to address the fundamental internal issues that plague us all, wherever we are on the political spectrum, and our behavior, and try to develop some understanding and compassion for ourselves and one another. But I do notice that I am very negative towards one of the candidates. And it's not really so much political as it is spiritual. So I got very excited this week, and I'm just going to be very upfront about it. I got very excited this week because President Biden has resigned from the race for president and left the door open for his vice president, Kamala Harris. And I felt a lot of excitement about this, like, oh my God, because I really didn't want Trump to win. Now, some of my viewers may be supporters of Donald Trump, and this is not an attack on you. I don't like this man's politics, and I'm going to tell you why in a moment and what this has to do with being spiritual.
Oh yes, and Elizabeth says hello from Lizzie and Lena.
Thank you, and hello to Lizzie and Lena. And did I say hello, Todd? I don't even know. I was
Yes,
so
you did.
busy. Okay. So I found myself getting very excited. And I have been trying to be neutral because, a spiritual woman, I need to be neutral. Whatever happens, happens. It's what the universe decides, and I can't put my agenda on evolution. I mean, how do I know really who's supposed to win, who's supposed to lose, and what's supposed to happen? So I've tried to be in that place, but I noticed that when Biden resigned, I felt ecstatic. So that obviously meant that I was unhappy with his prospects. And I really want to talk to you very sincerely about why that is.
Oh, and Robbie says, hello, namaste. I'm watching from Kathmandu, Nepal.
Hello, Robbie.
Namaste, Robbie.
Namaste. So, a lot of our viewers are from outside the U.S., and I hope you don't mind that I'm going to be talking about something that's internal politics, the United States, but really impacts the whole world. And the reason that I'm opposed to Donald Trump is not necessarily specific policies of his, although some of them are, but because he is fighting against something that I, as a spiritual person, hold dear, which is oneness, differentiation, co-creation, mutual support, accountability, and so on. And I believe that we are all in a much bigger battle than the fight for this president or that senator or this party or that. It's the fight to stop being dominated by ego. And the ego is always all about me. It's me, it's me, it's me. And if it isn't me, it's my family, it's my tribe, it's my race, it's my gender, it's my way of life, it's my religion, it's my money, it's my company.
It's my politics.
And it's my planet for me to do anything I want. You know, we don't have to take into consideration the needs of the wildlife. We don't have to take into consideration the waters and the pollution and, you know, the health.
And
climate change, as long as we're making money, that's all that counts. So you see, to me, all of that is hubris, as they called it in the day. I think that was a religious word, right? Which is like an arrogance. And now, I am not saying that Kamala Harris is a perfect person. But what I am saying is that she is at least making some effort to care about other people. And it seems to me that Donald Trump and his entire thrust is not caring about other people, is really about using people, exploiting people, and abusing people, and not trying to be in the oneness with other people. Now, I don't like it when Democrats or socialists or anybody else does the same thing, cares only about themselves. I don't like that, because that is fighting against the very essence of spirituality, which is to see that we are one. And we are also differentiated. These are the platforms of my program, Living with Reality, which is in a book, a free book that's on the internet, healingartsnetwork.org. It's in the post. And the platforms start with becoming oneness and becoming differentiated and co-creative and mutually supportive and so on. And accountable. And there are 9 platforms. And I don't see that. I see that very little in our world. And I feel that Donald Trump is very much personifying not being that and encouraging people to turn one against the other in a divisive way by scapegoating, by humiliating, by bullying people who are weaker, whether you're disabled or you're gay or trans or all the varieties.
Or a person of color.
Person of color.
Immigrant.
Right. Now, I understand that there are situations we have to deal with. We have to learn how to deal with them. But we have to always begin with a recognition of our oneness and the humanity. And also the needs of the natural world, which we just completely ignore, the Democrats as well as Republicans. Although there are more Democrats who are concerned about the natural world and campaigning to try to change our relationship to it. So I felt, when I had this feeling of excitement, because I thought Biden was going to lose. Oh my God, maybe Kamala is going to win. And there is hope, right? You know, you start with someone like that and you try to support her to do the right thing. Whereas with Trump and J.D. Vance, in my way of thinking, there is no way to support them to do the right thing. They're really not interested. That's not even in their vocabulary or thinking. So when I got so excited, I started to feel very guilty.
And why did you feel guilty?
Because I was a house divided against myself. Because I really was excited that maybe, Kamala Harris could win. And yet I said, oh my God, I'm so polarizing. I don't approve. I don't think this is the way we should. I don't think we should be competitive. I don't think we should have a zero-sum game. I don't think we should hate each other. I don't think we should be divided. I think we should be looking at what is for the highest good of all. And how do we achieve that? So that's where I'm coming from. And then I see myself going, woo, woo, woo. Now, I have not been competitive, except in political situations, I have to admit, since the Dodgers left Brooklyn. Some of you don't even know about that. The Brooklyn Dodgers was the baseball team of, I was born in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And it was like the underdog dogs and,
That's right.
and the Brooklyn Dodgers were the first to really integrate and bring in black people, and they were, somebody to cheer. So I didn't like it when the Brooklyn Dodgers lost. Now, I can't say that was a big part of my childhood, but at least it was in there. But I don't care about who's on top of the charts. In music, I don't care who won the Chopin competition. I don't care which football team wins. I don't care about those things. I don't like competition. I think we should be working together for the highest good of all. And here it is. I was in the throes of that feeling. Oh my God, get 'em. So, so that made me feel very uncomfortable within myself.
Mm-hmm.
So today it came to a head. And I didn't even realize what it was that was bothering me. Because I said, tonight I think I have to talk about the political situation. And I am thrilled to see a black woman running for president. She's also South Asian. That's exciting. I mean, I grew up, I've told you before, I was born in 1945. I'm not a baby boomer. James and I are before the baby boom. Nobody even talks about us. We don't even exist, because the baby boomers were born after the war and we were born during the war. But, it was all white men everywhere running everything. The doctors, the lawyers, the politicians, everything. And it was so monolithic. And I, as a young girl, could see that I was going to have trouble, that the world had a concept of what I should be just because I was a woman. And I also saw how we treated black people. At that time, I didn't know Hispanics. I didn't understand what was going on with undocumented workers in the fields with no protection. I didn't know about that. I did have some sense about Native Americans, but but I was Jewish. I still am Jewish in my heritage. And at that time, believe it or not, being Jewish was also terrible. It was not going to allow you to reach any level. And I told myself at the age of 9 that, we have another comment.
Oh, Daniel is here and says, great viewpoints.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you so much. So, I wanted to be the first woman Jewish president. Well, I didn't make it, but I want to tell you that when I went to college, there was so much anti-Semitism. And some of you are going to find this hard to believe because you didn't live through this. Yeah, there's anti-Semitism today, but you didn't live through what I lived through, where you would see a sign that said Jews and dogs not allowed, you know. And when I went to graduate school, the chairman of Latin American history, I was in a very prestigious graduate school, was Jewish. And he had changed his name so nobody would know that he was Jewish. That's the world that I grew up in. So I was a woman, I was Jewish, and I was working class. You know, came from a poor family. So I knew prejudice firsthand, and I still do. I mean, the prejudice against women still reeks. I mean, you know, like J.D. Vance has said, that women without children, you know, have nothing to say because we have no stake in the future. and Kamala Harris has no children. I mean, I can't believe some of the things that these guys are saying. You know, they're out of the Stone Age. Maybe the guys in the Stone Age were better than this. I don't know. So you see, what I'm looking at is as when I see someone like Kamala Harris, I'm like thrilled to see that our society has so opened up. I turn on the news and there's black people commenting on the news. You know, when I remember it was Walter Cronkite. Cronkite?
Cronkite. Talking about the news, yeah.
Talking about the news. David Brinkley and so on. Chet Huntley. I mean, there were no women in positions of authority.
Or influence.
And, you know, so to see something like this, I have to say there is a thrill to me just to see that happening, to see that people who have been discriminated against so much in our nation and in our world having an opportunity to express themselves and have power, but not at the expense of others. Because it doesn't help if we climb the ladder, if the ladder still exists, if we're still suppressing the people underneath us. I don't care if the oppressor is a woman, is black, or is an orangutan. It's still oppression. So you see, there are certain things that I, as a human being, as a caring human being, and as a spiritual person, believe are sacred. Like, didn't Jesus reportedly say something like, of course everybody translates it different, what you do unto the least of my brethren, you do unto me. Isn't that what Jesus said? And that means that when we hurt indiscriminately, have prejudice, deny the rights to people. I mean, I remember when you could go to prison for being gay, and it's still true throughout many places of the world. I mean, to me, that's not politics. That's about spirituality. That's about understanding the fundamental oneness of humanity. That we should take animals and stick them in cages and torture them for our sake because we want to experiment, or because, oh, I'm doing my thesis. You know, I'm getting my doctorate in research, in psychiatric research, and yeah, of course. I mean, they're just rats, or they're just dogs, or they're just chimpanzees, or just another species, you know, as though other species have no feelings. This, to me, friends, is about what is spirituality? If it is not grounded in oneness. If we are damning other people, if you are religious and you are damning someone from a different religion or putting down their God, That is not spiritual. I don't care how religious you think you are. And the same is true in the political arena. There are things that Democrats are saying or are going to say that I don't like and don't agree with. Because unless we have some inquiry and caring about one another, we are not being true to the things that we claim to care about. We can be relieved that a man who bases his belief system on I, on how great he is, on how he has to win, that's ego personified. You know, we don't have to, we can say, I don't want this man in there. But it doesn't mean that we can't care about why people are supporting that.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand why black people have been angry. I understand why Israelis are angry. But that doesn't mean that I will justify this never-ending slaughter of Palestinians
In Gaza.
in Gaza. It has to go both ways. We have to be willing to look at ourselves. We have to be willing to look at each other and ask ourselves, are we truly standing for something? Or are we only pretending to stand for something? So when I realized that today, that there was a reason that I was happy, that it isn't because, oh, I am now supporting the Salt Lake City Blobs versus the Kansas City Blips. You know, I don't know. I know so few sports that I can't even mention two teams that are, you know, or my sorority.
That's uncompetitive you are.
Right, that is how I just don't, I can't stomach it. I can't stomach all this competition. I cannot stomach the fact that we are not trying to build a world that works for everybody. That's what I cannot stand. But I can understand and have compassion for myself that I thought, oh yes, if Joe Biden resigns, there is a chance that the Trump philosophy and approach and egoic perspective will find a defeat. But we have to also make sure that we are not being what we are criticizing in others. And when I understood that spirituality does not equal silence, I had my freedom back. Because spirituality can be construed as, oh, I'm neutral, whatever God's will. It's like, no, I'm not neutral. I am not neutral about oppressing, exploiting, hurting other people, taking away fundamental rights that people need in order to live, degrading women, making women criminals because they have abortions. It's, to me, it's so not in the oneness. So yes, I want to see that defeated in whomever would support it and in whatever party that shows up.
And if you see it in yourself, to root it out and try to move back toward the oneness.
Exactly. So yes, I understand why I was relieved, because I don't want Donald Trump to win another 4 years in the White House. Maybe some of the ideas that he has have some validity, but his approach is not something that I want to support. And just because I am spiritual doesn't mean I have to sit there, chant Om, and let God take care of it. We have another comment.
God needs to work through the hands and feet and minds of us. Todd says, thank you for your courage to have this conversation.
Thank you, Todd. I mean, it took me hours to try to figure out what to say tonight, because I didn't want to just get on here and say, yay, Kamala Harris, you know. But on the other hand, I can't lie to my audience. I always tell you the truth about what's going on for me. And this was something that was going on, and I couldn't find my way out. But when I got it, spirituality does not equal silence. On the contrary, it calls us to speak for and to the highest good of all, no matter how unpopular that idea, no matter how much that opens us up to attack.
And we have shining examples of that, like Gandhi,
Yes,
or Martin Luther King, who opposed things that were unjust.
that's
but
right.
did in a way that was not harmful to others.
Exactly. And that's what we have to do. We have to stand up to that which is unjust and hurtful and pure ego. But we have to do it without ego. That may not be easy, but it's clear. It opened the door for me. I started to be happy again. Yes, I can speak, and I can speak as a spiritual person, as a spiritual sister. I'm not better than you. I'm not worse than you. Yes, I write books, and I can be seen as a spiritual teacher, but really I'm a spiritual seeker and a spiritual human being trying to find a way in a corrupt world where we do not have the support to really be the spiritual people that we would like to be, because most of us are caught up in the dog-eat-dog competitive universe that we have co-created. But we can stop that. And I'm calling upon us to stand up now and to speak to injustice wherever we see it and have that courage. I remember at one point when I was at a meeting, I don't think I've hidden that I'm a recovered alcoholic. I haven't had a drink for 43 years, and I used to go to meetings of an organization that supported alcoholics, and I would hear people making jokes about Polish people or Italian people. I was in Cleveland, Ohio, I have to say, and there was a lot of Poles there. And I didn't care if I lost every friend that I had in the room. I said, that is wrong. And that is, we have to be as strong with our friends as we are with the people who we think are our enemies. And we need to have integrity in ourselves. Then we can fight. Then we don't have to be silent.
Yes.
So thank you for coming tonight. I need to remind you that we come every Wednesday night at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time for Lighting the Way, Granny Raps and Rocks. And if you like this program, please give it a thumbs up in YouTube. And subscribe to our YouTube channel and ask to be notified. I'm also doing a lot of 60-second energy boosts that I'm doing absolutely free, that's on our YouTube page and on our Facebook page.
And also give us a like or love on Facebook.
And follow
And
us.
share it.
And please share this program. If you haven't shared anything else of mine, share this. We need to face this honestly, courageously, and in a timely way. And tomorrow night, we get to play music. That's our reward. 7 p.m. Pacific time, live streamed on Facebook and
Magical
YouTube.
Improvs.
Magical
by
Improvs.
the
Kindred Spirits
Kindred Spirits
Band,
Band.
which is us.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming tonight. Please think about what I've said, even if you don't like it, and please pass it on.
Mm-hmm. So glad you could be with us tonight. Thank you for coming, and hope to see you again soon.